Hey, so my name is Thompson Stone, and I am a freshman here at NC State University. Today, I had an awesome opportunity to share the gospel with my classmates. So I have a public speaking class at 8:30 on Mondays and Wednesdays, and at this class, apparently this week we were supposed to have introductory speeches. And I walked into class today and it had 100% slipped my mind. I had no idea that I had that going on today. I walked into class, one of my friends were working on their speech, and I looked on my Moodle page, my NCSU Moodle page, and realized that we had speeches due today. And I had nothing prepared. I was not ready, nothing to be prepared. Well, I go and I look at the rubric, and the rubric says that you have to talk about like an experience or skill or something that you've had in your life that has happened to you that has been pivotal in your life. And then you also have to list 3 attributes that you gained from that, and also how those 3 attributes will contribute to the class. And so my first thought automatically went to my faith, and I decided to talk about my faith in front of my class. And so I sit there and I have maybe 3 sentences wrote down on a piece of paper, and I get up in front of my class. I was the 3rd person to go. I volunteered to go 3rd, and I get up in front of my class and I talk about how the most pivotal point in my life, the number one most important thing in my life is my faith. And I got to talking about how I've not always been a Christian. I was able to share my testimony, a little bit of my testimony. And then I also was able to talk about how I have had issues with my ankles my senior year of basketball, and how because of those issues that I have with my ankles, I learned 3 things. I learned, number 1, to love others. I learned that, because God loved me, I can love others. And because he shows me grace, I can show grace to others also. Number 2, I talked about patience. I talked about peace, I talked about peace, and how when I accepted Jesus Christ as my Lord and Savior, it gave me a peace that surpassed all understanding. And number 3, I talked about optimism, and how I can view situations differently because of my faith, that I can look at certain situations and see a different outcome than I would if I didn't have anything to believe in. And then I was able to finish my speech with talking about, number 1, Fields of Faith. I got the opportunity to talk about how I spoke in front of 500 people at Fields of Faith, and how that was very pivotal because it showed me what the Lord had in store for me, and that I can talk in front of people and I can share my faith. And then I was also able to discuss how if I can get in front of people that I know do not believe the same thing as me, and I know do not have the same beliefs as me, if I can get in front of them and talk about my faith, something so controversial as religion and faith, then I felt like I could get in front of them and talk about anything. I finished my speech, and I sit down, and our professor had not said a word after anyone's speeches, and the next person's getting up to go speak, and she's like, hold on a second, I just want to say that I don't care what you believe in. You can believe whatever you believe, as long as what you believe is something that you have researched on your own and something that you have come to the conclusion of on your own. And that's all that she said about it. And so after class, I'm going up to her to hand her my speaker notes, because I had 3 pages, or 3 sentences, but I had to turn it in anyways. And so I turn it in to her, and she's like, can I talk to you? Can you wait a second? I need to talk to you after class. I'm like, okay, sure. In my mind, I'm thinking, oh crap, this is a public university. I've made her mad. She's going to report me to the dean. My mind immediately went to the worst case scenario. And she gets to talking to me, and she's like, she says, getting up in front of people that do not believe the same thing as you. She was like, when you spoke at the event where you spoke in front of 500 people, I bet most of them believe the same thing as you. She was like, when you got up in front of people today that you knew did not believe the same thing as you, and you were still able to speak about your faith so courageously and so boldly, she was like, I really admire that, and I commend you for that. And I was like, whoa, that was not the comment I was expecting out of her, because I don't think she's Christian, but I guess I don't know, but I felt like if she was Christian, she would have told me in that moment, because it was just us in the room, and she was just talking to me about it and everything, and she just kind of went on a little bit more about how she just thought it was so awesome that I had the ability to confidently get up there and share my faith and talk about my faith in front of people that I knew I knew would not believe the same thing as me, and probably did not respect the fact that I was up there talking about my faith. But she said that she really commended me for having the courage to stand up in front of those people and talk about my faith. And so I just thought it was a really awesome opportunity that the Lord was able to use me. I don't know who I might have touched. I don't know if I touched anyone. I don't know if I just planted a seed in someone's heart. I don't know, but I know that the Lord was definitely working through that moment. I know there was definitely a reason that I woke up kind of late this morning, that I had to rush to class, that I didn't know that speech was going on. I think there's a plan and purpose in it all, and I'm just really, really happy that I was able to, that the Lord was able to use me in this situation. So I figured I'd share this with you, and thank you for listening.